Okay, just a second. Okay, I am live. Good evening. Wow. Good evening. Wow. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I can say it's been very exciting. It's been a very unprecedented year. I mean, 2020 has been that year that nobody planned, no matter how much of strategic planning you had done, no matter how much, you had sat down and, put pen to paper, done a very detailed plan, set exciting goals that you were really ready to go out and make it. 2020 just came out to us as a shock. We all started the year and, we heard coronavirus outside there, but nobody would have perceived that the impact of that pandemic would go deep as far as it went, the way it affected businesses. But we're wrapping up 2020 and, business is picking up. Things are seeming to get closer to what it was at the early months of 2020 and even what it was in 2019. I mean, there were some businesses that really even did excitingly. Now, today's webinar, today's talk is focused on marketing techniques that you can use to promote your business. But we're really focusing on people that have a training or a capacity building business. I said in my earlier post that we at the Outlier Hub, we rent out training facilities. So we have training rooms, we have meeting rooms and some workspace. And really our target customers are people that have a training business. And we've seen over a couple of months and some time that we've seen that many of those people, many of our customers are struggling to fill in the right numbers. So if you decide to have a particular training for 30 people and you're having way less than that number, it really impacts your profitability. And that is why we've decided to put together this training, because even we ourselves at the Business Outliers, we are training service provider and we've experienced a lot of success. We've trained companies in the oil and gas industry. We've trained government organizations. We've even trained private sector, government, we've trained banking, and even private individuals, private companies like that. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some marketing techniques that you can use to promote your training business. So that's exactly what the purpose of this particular webinar today, right? So yes, it's been said that you need to spend more money, right, to make more money. That's key. You need to spend, the more money you spend, you can. So, I mean, you usually have like an advert budget. But when the year has been, as we described 2020, where even your advert budget is limited, you have very thin budget. How do you maximize that tiny budget to make the best out of it? How do you maximize that tiny advert budget to make the best out of it? So how do you, maybe not necessarily free, but what can you do? What are the best things you can do? So the first I would say is you need knowledge, really, because if you want to be very good at marketing, if you want to promote your business, whether if you are a sole proprietor, you have a business where you invariably are the one that handle the marketing on your own, or you have a more structured organization where you have staff, they are marketing staff, but they still need that knowledge. No matter how experienced they are. I remember when I started out in sales, in marketing, in banking, it was, in fact, I remember clearly I wanted to walk out of my job because I'm like, I'm not a people person. I'm more of an introvert. I don't like going out to speak to people I don't know. But I had to learn, I had to overcome that part of me, because I realized that even if I am not a salesperson today, even if I'm not in marketing today, I still need to interact with people. I need networking to get to the very high level that every one of us wants to reach. So it's very important for you to learn. So I spend time to develop myself to learn. So go onto the internet. The internet is packed with articles on how you can market your business. Even if you have so much money to spend, there is a budget for everything. So you don't want to throw out every bit of money, every bit of capital you have, every bit of advert budget you have on advert, right? You need to focus on finding the right people. So there are a lot of books that you can lay your hands on, and I have a couple of them here. The one I love best right now, and I just finished reading it last week, and even if with all my years in business development, in sales, in marketing, I still develop myself daily, right? I mean, it's key to be listening. So who are you reading right now? Last week, I just finished reading Playbook by Grant Cardone, and that was an exciting book because I like his perspective, bringing in financial literacy into marketing. So you need to know how much money you want to make as a person. That would determine how you would drive yourself into marketing, right? So Grant Cardone Playbook is very key. I just recommended it even to a person last week. And by the way, you may hear a tiny shrill back behind me. So I'm at home, my dog just goes very excited, at some sound. So I think it's something that's triggered him. So you can hear that kind of sound coming. Please just ignore it. So another book that I love Brian Tracy, is wealth of experience over so many years. I think it's over 40 years of experience that he brings into sales, marketing. So, I mean, it's fantastic. The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. And the best about this is that you can even get the audiobook. So on YouTube, you can download, it's like a 6-hour audiobook, right? So you can download that and listen to it. 30 minutes every day. 1 hour every day. I mean, 6 hours. So if you listen to it an hour every day, maybe 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening. And you need to take notes and write those things down. Very key, right? So get those kind of book, Brian Tracy. Other books, of course, is The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papersman. Also a very powerful book. And then Purple Cow by Seth Godin. I mean, everybody knows Seth Godin. Seth Godin is a guru when it comes to sales. So, just look for Purple Cow by Seth Godin. That's a fantastic book that you can read. There's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And those kind of books, just like a bit of what Playbook started out with, it's changing your mindset, trying to make sure you have that mindset of winning, right? So Think and Grow Rich is a book I would also recommend. I've also listened to the audiobook. In fact, that was way long time ago. Sometimes you get so busy, you might not be able to pick up a book to complete it, but when you have an audiobook, you can finish it up in no time. So Think and Grow Rich is a good one that you can also listen to. Utility and Art V by Gary is another one that you should listen to. Then the next thing is that you need to identify your target audience, truly. And I think that's key in whatever business you're trying to sell, whatever line of business you're in, whether you're a training service provider or you are into any other kind of business. You need to know who your target audience are, really, because if you say your target audience is everybody, that means you're targeting everybody, then invariably you're targeting no one. So you want to make sure that you have very good return on investment for that marketing dollars, for the marketing naira that you're spending. So you need to know who you're targeting. So for instance, you offer training. So you're training for corporates. So are you offering corporate trainings such that you design that you are only out to meet companies? Do you want to go and meet companies and write to them based on what how you want to reach them? Or are you targeting students, right? I mean, the approach will be totally different because where you will find those people are different, right? Then are you targeting individuals that will just come on their own? So for instance, if I'm training on project management, I could say I'm going to companies, right? But most times people that want to cross over, they want to change careers, they want to maybe relocate or advance this, or they're just looking for an internationally recognized certification like maybe Prince 2 or PMP are the ones that will be your target audience. So you may find out that you are focusing on individuals. But when you want to do a training on sales like I'm doing, most times you would want to focus on companies. Why? Because companies are the ones that want to train their sales force. They want to advance they want to improve and advance the skills of their sales force. So you definitely want to focus on companies. So you need to understand who your target audience are. I was speaking with a man last week. Yeah. So in fact, this particular webinar, it came out from the fact that, so somebody was on my timeline, a long time acquaintance that I'd met and had trained somewhere that he had attended, and he was very, so he told me he wanted to come and use our facility. And I was just curious that, okay, so how are we signing up? How are you getting your customers? And he just said, oh, he's going to work with X, Y, and Z. And I told him, okay, so you've got to understand that if you're working with students, your margin will be lower because you can't charge them so much. And then the key thing is, if that particular target audience, you need to find out what value is in it for them. So what do they value? Students will be looking for a kind of training that will help them improve their career. Maybe if you get this particular kind of training, they may be able to get a job faster, right? Or they may even be able to get an internship placement. So, I mean, if I do a training and say I'm training students, right? And I say, if you join on this training, you will have a chance of getting an internship placement. A student will ask his parents or even save money to get on board on that kind of training. Right. But I told them, if you're not training, focusing on students, but you want to focus on corporates, why don't you target, some of that cluster organization? And I think I'll get there in the course of our talk today. Now, once you know who you want to work with, it becomes easier. It becomes easier for you even to create marketing content. We have a program called Outlier Business Club, and we focus on young people from as small as maybe even 5 years old, right, to when they become a teenager, when they become 19, so that the way we market to those segments of people, we know we cannot find them online. We find their parents. So we understand that we want to look for people that have young children that want to also give those children what they missed out when they were younger, right? So we try to target them that way. Sometimes we also go to schools to say, okay, we have a very unique product that we're bringing to your school where, they can act like a club, just like they do ballet club or taekwondo or swimming club. So our target audience, we find them deliberately, even because we know who they are. We know exactly who the product is. So that's exactly, we don't go everywhere. I mean, there are places I will know, but we're changing the strategy, right? We're trying to change the target audience, but the value that we're delivering. So once you define that value, then you'll be able to tie it to the right target audience. So it's very key. So I mean, I don't need to go through this part again. Another important thing that you must do is to focus on getting referrals. Now, a lot of people, and you and I will do the same, we work with referrals a lot. So if I had never done a training before, and I'm a corporate organization and I need a very good training service provider, I probably will speak to a colleague in the industry or someone that I know that regularly trains the staff, and I say, can you refer me to a training company that you've used in the past? So that's the power of referrals. So you need to, as a training service provider, you need to become ready to look for referrals from people that you've worked with in the past. You need to focus on getting referrals. It's so key because they will blow your trumpet for you, basically. That's exactly what it is. So to attract referrals, now you need to reach out to clients that you've worked with in the past. So you don't even need to say, in fact, that one of the things I learned from Grant Cardone last week was that instead of saying, is there anyone you would like to refer me to, right? That question, I would automatically answer, I'll get back to you. But if you make the question a bit more direct and say, who would you like to refer me to? Who do you think within your network would need this kind of service, right? They would, so you are making them take more action rather than being extremely polite and just not hitting the nail on the head. So that's so basically you need to ask. That's what it's saying. You need to ask. You need to ask to get people that will talk about you. Then you need to have a document, some sort of proposal or a brochure that talks about you, that talks about the customers you've worked for in the past. So if you've worked for banks, you need to list it. If you work for government organization, you need to list them. If you worked in manufacturing, telecom, I'm talking about if you've delivered your training services, right? You need to list that. Then if your trainers, if you have a training company, right, who are the facilitators that come on board for this training, you need to list their profile clearly and talk about their experience and what they are bringing on board, what value they are bringing on board, because it's very key for you to sell what the value that those people will receive. How else can you get referral? LinkedIn is fantastic. So you get on LinkedIn and you don't just stay on LinkedIn and go to people's direct message and keep bugging them, right? What you need to do is to develop your own persona, your own personality on LinkedIn. So who are you? What's the profile? And then you post relevant content that people will know that what this company does is providing training services. So that's also very key. A lot of people use mailing lists. They give out freebies, and then they're able to develop a strong mailing list. It's okay, but many times, of course, is a list I would do. That's one of the least things I would do. Why? Because I receive so many emails every day across almost 5 emails that I manage. And every single time an email drops, it feels like a burden. Like, I need to delete all these emails, because I believe that my unread mails are the mails that I want to attend to. So it's my own way of planning my day. So if I see a mail, most times I just select everything and I just take them out. So I just believe that emails, they don't really have that personal touch. But of course, it's like you just have to do it kind of a thing. Then you need to also ask for recommendations on LinkedIn from your existing clients. So you're on LinkedIn, you've developed a very strong profile. People can recommend and say, wow, this particular set of company, and that, they came to deliver a training for us and they were fantastic, right? So you need that kind of recommendation is also very, 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 very key. And of course, when you have customer, that's one of the things, referrals, customer feedback. When you get a good glowing recommendation from a client, don't just keep it. Please let them document it such that you can showcase it. You need to showcase it online. You need to showcase it everywhere. So we trained this company and they were very proud of us. They were very happy. You don't just do that feedback form for nothing. It's actually for you to get more people at the end of the day. Then please do not forget traditional marketing. I love the internet. I love digital marketing. It makes you get a lot of recognition quickly. It helps you get a lot of mileage very quickly. But please, we are in Western Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. Not everybody has access to that internet. So how do you reach those people that are not online, that do not have access to the internet? You need to still do this traditional marketing. This physical marketing is very, very key. So how do you do that? You need to still put together your proposals. Whether you want to send out your proposals by emails, right? Or you need to make a phone call and send proposal. But whichever way you want to go about it, you still have to go traditional. You need to find your target audience in cluster groups. And this takes me back to what I was saying earlier on, that the particular person I was speaking about had this target audience. And I told him, why don't you look for cluster groups, organizations. If, for instance, you're training in engineering. Okay, let's say the training just wanted to train in, let's just say, medicine, in the medical industry. Why don't you go to association of medical practitioners or something and show them the fantastic training that you have, and work with them and say, if they bring so and so people, maybe you do the split together or something. There should be like a profit sharing formula that will make it work for them. Fine, that might be a bit, it depends on your network and how you're putting together. Another way is, if they're having meetings, you can just go there and hand out your flyers. But working with organizations and structured, basically you want to reach people in their cluster groups, because one, your training is relevant to them in that cluster group, and two, you get to reach a lot of people at the same time. Then the next thing is to make cold calls to potential clients. So if you've identified your target audience and you know that your training is for a niche, a very specific particular industry, it makes it easier for you. So if you're training schools, for instance, let's say you're training teachers, let's say you're a teacher, you're a trainer that helps education, helps teachers become more computer literate, for instance. You can find them online. But why don't you just go knocking on the doors of schools and say, hey, I'm going to help your teachers understand how to use different tools to improve themselves. So you go to schools, and there's so many schools. At the end of the day, you get the ones that, the numbers that you need. If you've worked with their clusters where they have meetings, associations, and all that, and physically go to them, that would also help. Of course, that's when you're starting. After a while, you build that brand name, and everybody gets to know that, wow, this is what you do, and they begin to patronize you. Then, of course, you still have to print that physical flyer. So there's this trying to balance between the costs, right, and the benefits. So how much are you going to print? How much are you going to pay for advert? If your pricing is not right, you begin to struggle and say, how much am I charging? I do not want to spend so much on marketing. But if you get the right pricing, you're able to have the proper advert budget that will help you even reach out to a larger audience. And at the end of the day, your training would work perfectly. So I talked about mailing list before, and it's not one of the key things I like to do, but of course you still have to do it. You have to send newsletter periodically. Because no matter what, even if a lot of us treat volume of emails as junk, there will still be one person that would see it, a couple of people that would see those mails. And the good part is that using tools like MailChimp, you are able to start on a very low scale, on a very easy and affordable scale. We get up to 2,000 people, and you have about 10 to 12,000 free emails that you can send in a month. I mean, that's a lot, right? And so you can get to do that. And of course, there are other email service providers like Amazon Web Service. I just found them recently, and you get to send a huge volume at a very, very, very tiny price, maybe like unlimited emails for $3 or something. And but you just need to make sure you get the right approval from Amazon to be able to do that. So that's another way you can get an affordable email service to work with. Your website, I mean, your website is like your business, where people can just go. It's like a one-stop shop. People come to your website and they see who you are. They type on Google SEO and they find you. That's like the best way to find you. In fact, if you're not online, if you don't have a website, or if your website is probably last updated or 3 years ago, then you know that there's a lot of work to do, right? So you need to make sure your website is attracting visitors. So how does a website attract visitors? I love to use Google My Business a lot because of our location. We post continuously on Google My Business, and I can tell you we've gotten a lot of clients just because we posted something. We post on Instagram and we post on other platforms as well. We also just share the same post on Google My Business, and because of that, people make inquiry directly from Google and we get business. So Google My Business is a fantastic way of also getting clients. Now, on your website as well, you need to be sure that you are using Google Analytics properly. If you don't know how to do it, you probably need to hire somebody, whether you have one staff within your organization that is a bit computer savvy, is a bit internet savvy, digital marketing kind of savvy. You need to train them properly such that they understand how to go about these things. And of course, there's also always the option to outsource. But the point is that these things has to be done, or else you will just remain small forever, right? So yeah, you want to grow. I think generally across all the platforms that you have, your message must be clear, right? It must be clear. What exactly are you selling? It has to be clear. Then, is there a call to action on every page, right? You need to give the clients that audience, like they're speaking to me, it's relevant. You're talking to me, right? Very relevant message. Is your website very easy to navigate? Then of course it has to be mobile friendly, because you can say 90% of the time we are on our mobile devices, or even more. We are on our mobile devices. We are it's easier to just pick up your phone than to physically log on to the computer and type www.this.xyz. So basically, just kind of small tweaks to your content to be sure that you are really attracting the right kind of customers. There's also the exciting world of SEO, search engine optimization. When people are searching project management trainings in Lagos, for instance, when they type that, will they see your website, or are you ranking 110 when you're supposed to be ranking maybe 1 or 2, right? So that's also key. You need to work on your SEO, the right phrases. What are people searching for? And those are the kind of content that you put on your website that will now help you drive traffic. There's a bit more about SEO and website, but the key is that you find somebody that is very good at it and you outsource, or you employ a staff, a young person that you can train to be able to do that. Then there's also online networking. You'll be surprised. So earlier in the day, I just wanted to test out this video, and I went on my personal page, and I just went online, and a lot of friends there coming in, and we just started playing, and we were just gisting, and it was fun. So there's online networking, right? People you've not seen in a long time, people you don't even know. I can count the magnitude of people I've met just because I'm online. I do not know them. They are probably based in Abuja, in Ogun State, abroad, in the UK, Canada, and I just met them online. So there's a way you can network with people. It's not always about coming online, and I've learned that over time. When I first started, having live videos, I used to come with a lot of focus and seriousness, which is also very good. But that's why it's called social media. It's supposed to be for fun, for social media, right? So you should be a bit more relaxed and engaging, and make sure those kind of things also work for you. So networking online is very important. You don't stay online without meeting people and just seeing how you can add value to them. Basically, that's how it works. So you just need to become a familiar face, a familiar presence on social media. Facebook is not to be discounted, no matter how overwhelming it has become over the years. It's not to be discounted. If you're on Facebook, if you many times it's also easy to post to Facebook. When you're on Instagram, you can do your share directly. I think you can also do to Twitter, and just copy the same post across all the platforms. So some people will tell me, yeah, I'm not really a Twitter person. I'm like, I'm not a Twitter person either, but my post, or the post that we post at our firm, still cuts across all the platforms, because really you're not quite sure where that next person that needs your service is coming from. So that's also very, very key for you. And I've mentioned Twitter. Then another thing I would love to do, and we've been able to use that to grow the Outlier Hub over time, is to so it's about like the links that come to your website. How many people are talking about you? So what I did was, we sat down and we looked for as many places as possible where we could list a platform like ours. So from Nairaland to VConnect, across over 50. So we got that, and I got somebody to sit down, and they were able to list. So when somebody is searching training center in Lagos, our name will rank high. Why? Because we've sown that seed, right? So that's what you also need to do. Other people need to be talking about you. So it's good that you talk about yourself, right? But other people also need to be talking about you. So you need to, for whatever the kind of training that you're doing, you need to post across other people's platforms. Basically, that's I think that's the key message here. You need to post across other people, and it's also like writing a guest post. So that's also somewhere. So you are a good, whatever you're doing, you're selling. Of course, the example here is a training service provider. So you need to write and post on other platforms, right? So if you could post for free, if you could be a guest in a very prolific newspaper or something, that would be very good for you, because it will bring attention to your brand, it will bring attention to your name, and which is exactly what you're looking for. So basically, there's so many things that you can do. They might be overwhelming, it might be a lot, but the key is that consistency, doing it again and again. And I always tell people that 70% of your activity as a business owner is sales, marketing, and business development. Because if you don't grow this business, if you don't develop this business, there will really not be nothing. So no matter how much operations and execution that you do, no matter how much you want to deliver that service, if you don't sell that service, even if you deliver this very one, the next one, you won't have the next service to deliver, you won't have the next business to deliver. So it's very key for you to always be in the face of people, to always continuously sell. So as a training service provider, it's key for you to always do that, and whatever business that you're doing. So I think that's about all. I could take questions. I think this is the time to relax. So I saw Temilade joining. Temi Crown, thank you for joining. And then Arikra Vings. Oh, nice to have you. It's a very nice Instagram live session that we've put together, talking about marketing techniques for your training business. But of course, it's something that you can use for every business, no matter what you're doing. So we are the Outlier Hub. Like I said earlier, we offer training facilities. It's based in Lagos, Nigeria. We also offer training consulting services. So we do capacity development and training for other companies, and both in the private sector and in government. So that's what we've been doing over the past 3 years since we've been in business. It's been a pleasure being here. So could you tell me, okay, Temi is the one still here. Okay, I saw Arik also join as well. Hi, Temi. Okay, so it's been a nice, exciting time just to have a bit of talk about marketing techniques. So this is something that we will do more often. Just bring to you key tips that can help you basically grow your business and improve what you're doing. Yeah. Thank you very much, and do have a pleasant evening.